He was living life on his terms, working in construction, chasing new opportunities, and always up for an adventure. But one day, diving into the ocean changed everything. A broken neck left him paralyzed and facing a reality most of us can't imagine. What could have been the end of his story became the start of something bigger. He went on to found the Ozark Adaptive Sports Association, creating opportunities for people with disabilities to rediscover movement, purpose, and community. He's a good influencer in every sense of the word, turning pain into purpose and using his story to lift others. In this episode, we talk about resilience, humor, and the power of adapting, not just to survive, but to thrive. This is a Good Influencers podcast, and today's story belongs to Sean Kent. So I guess tell me a little bit then, kind of building up the story. You know, how did you grow up, and where did you grow up, and what was life like for you as a kid?
Originally, I'm from Rolling Meadows, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, and grew up, normal life. Did scouts all the way up to Eagle, and
Nice.
Graduated in 2004 and played football, baseball, soccer, basketball. Did
So
all that.
siblings.
Got a sister.
Okay. What's your relationship with her?
It's good. Good. They moved here after we did. Like a few months after we did. So
Yeah.
that was nice.
Gotcha. So it sounded like you had ambitions of, going into construction, driving cranes.
That was after college.
Yeah.
That was after all the fun I had working for the public works, getting to play with all the toys, front loaders and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Up in Chicago, we did plowing and that they don't do here. And, it's nice living here where they go, hint of flurries, everything shuts down.
Yeah, exactly.
So up there, it took 3 feet.
Everyone's running the store and grabbing toilet paper and milk and eggs.
And up there, it's 3 feet of snow, and it just sits there for months. Here, it snows and it's gone within a week. It's so nice.
Yeah, I know. I went to school in Southeast Idaho, and it was like, about October 1st till about April, it was wintertime.
Yeah.
So
that's one reason why we like it here is, the average temperature is like 50 in the winter. And all you got to do is make it through July, August, and the rest of the year is good.
Yeah, you're golden.
You're golden. After summer, you're golden here. But,
tell us about accident and kind of what happened there.
So what happened was I had just gotten my crane certification. Decided I wanted to go meet friends that I made while playing Halo 2 and 3 that lived out in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
And we just went to Tillamook Creamery, which was great. And I said, you know what? I got to swim in the Pacific Ocean. So we parked on the beach, went running out in the water, dove into a cresting wave, and behind the wave was a sandbar. So I was like going head first right into a wall. Shattered my C6 face down in the water. Drowned, resuscitated on the beach, and then spent 2 weeks out in Portland where they still had VCRs in 2011 in the hospital rooms, which was crazy. And then got flown back to Chicago and spent 6 months of inpatient rehab in Chicago and then another 2 years of outpatient rehab.
So I guess when you revisit the story, I mean, what's it like for you retelling the story? Is it just kind of...
It's fine. Unlike some people, I remember every bit of it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Every bit? I mean, didn't it...
The drowning and all that, yeah.
You remember all that?
Yeah. Some people, when they get in a car wreck, they can't remember. They black out for that or something. No, that thing was face down in the water and went, oh, my friends are going to get me. I think what saved me was I didn't do to try to get air. I just went to sleep and was resuscitated on the beach.
So you dive in the water, you're like, oh crap, something happened. You blacked out, you wake up on the beach.
Couldn't move, couldn't get my head out of the water.
So at what point did you figure there was a serious issue?
Oh, right after it happened.
You knew right away?
You felt a little crunch and nothing was working right. So I couldn't flip my back on my back and get my face out of the water. And
Okay, so hospital 2 weeks.
2 weeks up there till we could get a flight back to Chicago.
Okay.
And then 6 months at Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago.
Now that's 6 months. Is that inpatient, outpatient?
Inpatient, 6 months.
So you were in it's basically a hospital room for 6 months
with a roommate. Yeah.
So what was that? What was your psyche like during that 6 months?
Kind of unique. When I got there, all the beds on the spinal cord floor were full. So they had to put me on the kids' floor.
Okay.
Besides the fact that I was too tall for the beds, I'm 6'5". So the beds weren't long enough, so they had to take that off. But when you're on the kids' floor and you see the kids with cerebral palsy, spina bifida, shaken baby, burn victims, amputations, all that stuff, you're like, I mean, mine happened when I was 25.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm 25. They can do this. I can do this. So after that, it was just grabbing as much therapy as I could while I was in there.
So I guess how long did it take you to come to that realization? Was this days, weeks, months into your stay, or
Days?
Okay, so it happened pretty quick.
Yeah, it was some people dive into the depression. I just found stuff to do, had a purpose. Figured out my purpose was to get back as much as I could.
Okay.
Because typically within the first year, what you have is what you got. After that, it's, if you're lucky, stuff comes back.
So during that 6 months, what kind of progress did you see physically?
No sensation from the chest down. Triceps are paralyzed, hands are paralyzed. No movement, basically from the chest down because I'm a quadriplegic.
Yeah.
Around October, stuff started coming back. So like, I'm an incomplete spinal cord injury, so it's just bruised on my spine, nothing severed.
Right, yeah.
And so only some things are really affected, like right down the middle of me. I don't feel pain on my left side, but I have better function on my left side, like my legs controllable, all that stuff.
Right, yeah.
My right side has full sensation, but less function.
Okay.
Like my hip and my hamstring and my ankle.
So as you're recovering and you're starting to see that progress, what does that what's that feel like mentally and emotionally?
That was fun. When it first started happening, I was waiting. I didn't tell my parents until they visited, and then I'd make sure like my dad was there, but my mom wasn't, and I'd make sure out the side of his vision, you'd see the leg move or something. You do that? Like, yeah. And then he couldn't tell mom for like a week or two or something until I could do it to her.
So you're just messing with them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd they react?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
It helps. I mean, I can walk with a walker, but it's not functional.
Yeah.
Compared to using the wheelchair, but.
So you primarily are.
In the wheelchair,
yeah. Yeah.
It's comfier, easier. Yeah. Yeah, the walker, because of the hands, I can't let go and grab something easily. I got to use both hands to grab something. So
gotcha.
If I let go of the walker, it's a collapse.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
So that 6 months in rehab, you started making some progress. What was life like after those 6 months?
While I was in there, they kept going, have you heard of wheelchair rugby? Have you heard of murder ball? Here's the movie Murder Ball. You should watch the movie Murder Ball. Still didn't watch the movie Murder Ball. So once I got cleared, luckily practice was only 20 minutes from where I was living. And I went to a practice after the 6 months, and that was the best thing I did.
So explain, because it's wheelchair rugby. Explain to me how that works.
It used to be called Murder Ball. I think you can't advertise that too well, so they changed it to wheelchair rugby. None of the rules have to do with rugby. It's the only full contact wheelchair sport. It's co-ed. It's played by 4 players on the court.
Okay.
Each player has a function level given to them ranging from 0 to 3.5. Lower number, less function. Higher number, higher function. Between those 4 players, you can only have 8 points on the court. So that helps vary the levels of people on the court. Same thing's done with wheelchair basketball and some other sports, but it's a way to do that. So it's full contact. You run into each other. A volleyball's used, not a rugby ball. You have to dribble or pass every 10 seconds. You have to score through a 26-foot wide goal. It's high scoring. I mean, it's single digit points, and games typically run over, between the two over 100 points. So you're going back and forth 100 times. So it's a stop and go game for the player, but long endurance. It's not like pushing for miles. You're doing stop, go, stop, go, stop, go.
When you say full contact,
it's chair on chair. You can't like punch the other person, but you can.
MMA?
We run into each other.
Yeah.
Flip over, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Chaotic chess was the best way to describe it. You got your blockers and the guy with the ball's behind the blocker. And then, you got a 3-foot wide wedge that you can use to get in front of people. Specifically made for quadriplegics. So that's going to probably take the longest for me to get started.
So I get the impression that you're not one to be coddled. You're not one to you don't want people feeling sorry for you. You don't want...
No, there's degrees. We had a very independent focused coach or captain when I was there, and he was great. And it helps to be more independent than anything.
It sounds like this rugby league or game had a pretty profound impact on you, because basically was the pivotal point that helped you rewrite the second half of your life.
It gave purpose, because I started practice and I'm like, well, I want to be a starter. So then you work on becoming a starter. Then you go, okay, we need to start winning. I didn't do well at that, but we worked at it. Like I said, it gave purpose outside of the therapy at the time, because I was doing therapy 3 times a week at that time. And then typically when people participate in the adaptive sports, they either go back to school, back to work, and all that.
Welcome to The Good Influencers. I'm your host, Ty Manning. At my business, Restoration One of Northwest Arkansas, we restore properties damaged by water, fire, and mold. Our unique difference, though, and the inspiration for this podcast, lies with our incredible team. Most of our dedicated professionals are on paths of recovery, living out the good influence we highlight here. They bring a culture of trust and resilience to every project, ensuring that your home or business isn't just repaired, but thoughtfully restored. Choosing Restoration One means you're getting expert service from a team driven by purpose and a desire to have a positive influence. If you need compassionate restoration services, find us online at restorationoneofnwa.com or call us 24/7 at 479-866-4257. We're here to restore your property and your peace of mind. And you didn't go back to work, correct? Or did you? And what did you do there? What did that look like?
That was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So mom and dad worked for a school district, so I just got a small part-time office job that I could hop in on, 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
Outside of therapy, and just make some extra cash.
So at some point you guys moved from Illinois to Northwest Arkansas. What triggered that event?
So around the same time I had the accident, my aunt and uncle moved down here for Walmart. My aunt got a job with Walmart. We would visit here 2 or 3 times a year. I had to move back in with the parents after the accident and all that.
Yeah.
Mom and dad kept going, we're going to retire down there. I'm like, yep, snow sucks in a wheelchair. Yep. So we moved down here in 2018. So every time we visited, I knew there was no adaptive sports here. And they'd be like, oh, we're going to Eureka Springs. I'm like, oh, enjoy the hills.
Yeah, really.
Or, we're doing this. And you can only go to Crystal Bridges so many times in a wheelchair.
Well, I imagine Chicago probably had a big community, adaptive sport community.
It was bigger. The Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, where I did my stint, also had a sports department. So they were our wheelchair rugby team sponsor.
Okay.
And, when they're getting sponsorships from the Bears, the Cubs, the Bulls, the Sox, Blackhawks, they got a good budget. So what they were doing was, the carrot on the end of the stick was, come play sports. We'll cover your travel, your stay at these tournaments. So from September to April, every month, we were going out of state.
Wow. You're like a professional athlete at that point.
Pretty much. We were just not paid.
Yeah.
But we were getting travel covered.
Right, yeah.
So then when I knew we were moving here, closest team for me to roster with is in Kansas City. So 2018 to COVID, I was driving every week up to Kansas City. to do practice. And wherever we had tournaments, we went and did tournaments.
It's like, hey, this was your purpose. This is what you...
That was the community I needed and purpose when I moved here. And then December of 2019 is when I got my 501c3 for OzASA. So that was a great time to start a sports program.
Yeah, really.
So 2020 was spent writing grants. That's where I got my first sports chairs for basketball. And then I had a team in Houston donated my rugby chairs. Didn't really get started. So officially December of 2019 is when we started, but didn't start getting people into stuff till April 2021.
Driving up to Kansas City to find your community versus building your community where you're at, those are very different things. Why did you feel the need to basically build a community here in Northwest Arkansas rather than continuing to commute?
So first I was trying to make a rugby team, but then I met a family that had a son that was in a wheelchair, and they were traveling to Oklahoma City to play basketball with him, to play with other kids. So that's when I shifted gears from, all right, we need not just a rugby team, we need a full program, because there used to be a wheelchair basketball team in Rogers, and there used to be one in Fort Smith.
Right.
But when the captain said we're done, nobody picked up the torch. Right. It fell apart. So that's why I went, all right, if we do the program route, hopefully somebody will pick up either my board of directors or somebody will pick it up. So that's when I went that route.
And you're like, hey, I'm all in. If you spend a whole year writing grants and...
I'm also kind of in a better position to run something right now than, say, most people, especially a starting nonprofit.
Why do you say that?
I'm a disability.
Oh, gotcha.
So kind of still get paid, even though we don't have the funds to pay.
Gotcha. So that sense of purpose from playing rugby to now starting an organization, does that fill that sense of purpose, or do you still need to get out there in a rugby chair and smash?
Oh no, it fills the purpose doing this compared to that was just fun and competitiveness and getting to hit things. But doing this was more purposeful. Just the variety of individuals that we've helped over the 5 years, from people who have lived here their whole lives without access to this stuff, to people that are brand new amputees or stroke or stuff like that. I get a lot of emails.
So what I think is interesting is as we talk, I could see you've got a lot of mental toughness, a lot of kind of fortitude, a lot of competitive, don't mess with me, don't hold me back. But at the same time, I'm seeing that there's this compassionate inside where you have this desire to help people. Did that desire to help people, did that exist before the accident? Is that something new? Is that...
No, just upbringing. Like I said, I was an Eagle Scout, did all that. It's just when you hit rock bottom, like your employees have, then you know where you don't want other people to be. You don't want people thinking, I wish the accident finished me off. You want them to find new purpose, find new community, get back out there.
A sense of hope.
A sense of hope, because you lose so much. You lose friends, family, loved ones out of this. People just dive into depression and they just sit at home doing nothing. Luckily, Arkansas at least has what's called the Arkansas Spinal Cord Commission. So I have a way around HIPAA, but to get the information to the people.
Yeah.
It's still up to them to want to come out and try. We can't just, drive up and pick them up in a van, even though they're in wheelchairs and it's easier.
What's your message to people when they first come to one of your events? Maybe it's someone who's never been there, someone maybe who's in this depression.
The motto of the program is they got to find their reason to want to get out. They got to figure out for themselves what they're doing. But if they come out, we all sucked when we started. You'll get better, especially with the wheelchair rugby guys. It takes 1 to 2 years to figure out your push, to get your speed up.
Really?
So it takes time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment to do that stuff. So when people come out and they're like, "Oh, I suck at whatever we're doing," it's like like I said, we all sucked. We all got better.
I imagine there's probably a spectrum of people. You have people coming out just to have fun, just to socialize. But from what I'm hearing is you got people out there that are competitors. They're coming out there to win.
We have our competitors, and hopefully one day we'll get to structured sports where we have travel teams and all that. But right now we're still very recreational. But then you got to cast a wide net of activities, because right now we do wheelchair basketball, pickleball, tennis, cycling, mountain biking, fishing, bowling, and archery. And I'm getting asked for more stuff. But then people go, "Well, I like cycling. I don't like basketball." Or "I like basketball. I don't like bowling." You got to find different things, but then also squeeze them into different abilities. Like, a single arm amputee is not going to come play wheelchair basketball or something like that. Or somebody that's a higher neck injury than me can't play wheelchair sports. So they got to play like power soccer. There's just so many sports. There's 28 Paralympic sports right now.
So tell me about your organization, Ozark Adaptive Sports Association. Tell me how you guys are structured now, what activities and sports you offer, how you're funded, who's on your board, just kind of how things work from a practical standpoint.
So we're still very new. Our volunteer-based still, because our toys are so expensive. Our primary funding is, the way I structured it is, grants are used for equipment purchases, and our sponsors and donors help pay for our programming.
Okay.
That's how we're structured right now. We do 2 to 5 events a week to try to give variety and reasons to give out. Like Monday we did tennis. Today's Thursday. Yeah, so yesterday we did pickleball and basketball. Saturday we were supposed to do mountain biking and cycling, but it's going to be raining all Saturday, so we're not doing that. And then we do pickleball and basketball in the afternoon. So it's about consistency, because you never know, because I've had it multiple times where I'm like, nobody's really showing up to this event. Maybe we'll cut it, and then somebody will pop in. You're like, okay, we'll keep it. And then I'm working with UAMS, so I get their occupational therapy students who are working on their doctoral capstone projects.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Last year we had one that was a fishing event. That's why we started fishing. Then I had another that was adaptive clothing. Then I have one right now. She did a wheelchair basketball skills clinic to try to get our players to learn more than just when to dribble.
All right.
So we got that going on. We got all our events. We have a few signature events, like the mountain bike ride next weekend, which 2 years ago it's one of the largest in the country. We average around, we cap it at 30 now. 2 years ago, we had 47.
Wow.
Adaptive riders come in from people are coming from Canada and all over the U.S. for it. The trails in Bentonville are actually pretty accessible.
Nice.
There's only a few we can't go on. Like we can go to the castle, we can go to Slaughter Pen, we can go to Blowing Springs, we can go to, I'll run out of names because I don't know them all.
And you're there at every event, or do you have people that help you run them? It's you.
Luckily, my parents are great voluntold, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do this, because it's mostly them and me at every event, except for, so most of our events aren't that volunteer heavy. The indoor stuff, the volunteers are more there to help us fill numbers. So say we want to do basketball that day, and I've got 4 guys in chairs, and we need 2 to do 3-on-3 basketball. Volunteers would hop in. Also, like for wheelchair rugby, when we had volunteers playing against you, say you were in a rugby chair against me, you have the advantage. Your triceps aren't paralyzed, your hands aren't paralyzed, your heart rate increases, you actually sweat, and you build lactic acid. We do not.
Really?
All that stuff. Nope. Yeah, so it's fun. Like that signal doesn't get through. So our heart rate barely goes up. Lactic acid's actually very slow producing, and we don't sweat. So we actually have to be sprayed down on the side of the court with like a gardening sprayer.
Right.
Is what we use. Or we have some guys that actually have ice vests that they'd wear. But the more volunteer intensive ones, the cycling, like the mountain biking especially, we try to keep it one rider, one support rider for that.
Now, is there a particular, as you think back on the people that you've worked with, is there a particular person that comes to mind where you could see that this made a really big difference in their life? Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I got participants that either, like me, moved here and they're looking for recreation. So they're transplants here. I have parents that actually moved their son from Central Arkansas to here because we're here.
Okay.
Fresh injuries, that's like fresh amputee or stroke, like I said, like the stroke person, she said she was an avid biker before her stroke, thought she'd never ride a bike again. We're like, oh, come try this. And she got her own after that, thought she'd never ride a bike again. Amputees, not knowing what they're going to do after they're, lost a foot or something. And we're like, well, come try this. And he's loving it. Or the guys that have grown up here their whole lives are like, hey, just come join us. And they're loving it and getting to do stuff they never did before.
What's the community like among the participants in your
dark humor and sarcasm? And much like the construction world, dark humor and sarcasm. That is what we live in. That's a coping mechanism for traumatic injury, for traumatic experiences, especially for men. And then you have to warn people, especially new people, be like, you're going to hear things.
Gotcha.
And it's fun. I mean, everybody's got almost the same experience, and you razz people and they razz back. And
so you guys aren't going around talking to each other about, you got this, buddy, you can do this. You're not.
You still give that. I mean, you got to give some encouragement.
Yeah.
You can't tell them they suck every time. Sometimes you got to be like, good job. That was terrible. But no, it's typical. And then one day we'll have the kid programs and we'll have to be nice. But till then, it's just fun.
So this word adaptive, I guess, tell me about this word adaptive, what it means to you. I mean, it's obviously in the name of your organization.
Yeah, it couldn't be Arkansas Adaptive Sports because then the acronym's ass. Then you're just remembered for the wrong reason.
Is this the longest
time to figure out
Is this some of the dark humor you're talking about?
Yeah. Just trying to find a name for the thing. And then you figure out Ozark Adaptive Sports Association, and you're like, why did I make it so long?
Yeah. Do over.
Soon it's just going to be OzASA again.
Yeah.
Because that's usually like how it goes. Because there's, at least in Dallas, it's called RISE, but Oklahoma City, it's Oklahoma Adaptive Sports Association. Tulsa, it's the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. That one's fun. That was started in 1956 by a group of nuns.
Oh, really?
In Tulsa, yeah. Then you have Midwest Adaptive Sports in Kansas City. Then you have Disabled Athletes Sports Association in St. Louis.
Right.
Those are the closest programs to here.
Gotcha.
But for adaptive sports, what it means is just, it doesn't take much to make sports adaptive. I mean, like tennis, the only rule change, tennis and pickleball, the only rule change is, the ball can bounce twice instead of once.
All right.
For mountain biking, Brian made a great point of this. We weren't asking for easier routes. We just wanted alternatives. So say there was a tree split that wasn't, 3 feet wide, give us a roundabout it, which then also helps people that aren't comfortable going through the tree and stuff like that. It's just tweaking things slightly.
Yeah, we have kind of a theme, an emerging theme, I guess, in the podcast of, people that have had something traumatic happen and they've used that traumatic experience to springboard them into helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just kind of as we're talking, this idea of adaptive is sticking out into my mind, where you are adapting. I mean, you're playing tennis, you're playing rugby, you're playing basketball, you are adapting to different sports. You have to adapt to different people. You mentioned having a children's program. You're going to have to adapt to your children's program. And I think of that idea of adapting just as human beings, is that's such a good trait to have. is having that ability to adapt.
Having the technology to do it now.
Right.
You want a fun time? YouTube 1990 wheelchair rugby. Yeah, they used to play it in their chairs like this with jeans on. You see change fly out when they flipped over. Now they're custom built chairs. Luckily, when I had my accident, at least iPhones were around. I can control my apartment from my phone.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Can't imagine before that. Like how crazy that would be.
So it sounds like the I guess the adaptive sports industry is changing and growing as
technology changes.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's the amount of engineering that goes into our mountain bikes is insane. Really cool. Really expensive.
Where do you see the future of OzASA? What do you think that's going to be?
Hopefully one day we'll have our own facility doing stuff every day, classes, to go from recreational sports to Center for Independent Living and recreation. So people can, pop in there and try things or take classes to learn new things or ways to do stuff like that. Because we got to travel across the country and see those programs.
Right.
And they were really helpful because there's some really good ones out there, like Ability 360 in Phoenix, or National Ability Center in Park City, Utah, or Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham, Alabama. I haven't been to National Ability yet. So the programs, there's hundreds of programs out there. It's just people don't think about this stuff.
Yeah, no.
Until a friend, family member, loved one themselves need it. And then it's like, it's a whole different world that you have to research and find things to and figure out. And we're just starting to get the treatment here. Because it used to be if you had an accident that required what I needed, they'd ship you off to Denver.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't even be here.
Really?
Maybe if you're lucky, you go to Baptist in Little Rock, or they ship you to Denver or Chicago or Atlanta, maybe Texas.
And you're saying that's changing now, huh?
That's changing now. We have inpatient rehabilitation in Fayetteville and Rogers now.
So this vision of
the facility,
the facility, what's it going to take for that to really happen?
Win lotto. It takes the community. It's a very generous community here, and I think we're here at the right time, especially right now, because Arkansas is 1 in 5 have a disability, 20%. So that's counting cognitive and physical disabilities and the elderly. Let's just say 20% of Northwest Arkansas, that's 100,000 people, have a disability here.
Wow.
So the Arkansas Spinal Cord Commission works with the spinal cord injuries that aren't employed. And there's a couple hundred that they work with in Benton and Washington County and Madison County. Then you got the ones that are down at Fort Smith. And it's like I said, 1/5 the population, and we're catching up to it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really think of
1 in 5. So
you don't think 1 in 5. And do you hope to accommodate all of those folks, elderly? And
I would love to. Well, I don't have to do the luckily Rogers, Bentonville, Springdale, and Fayetteville have senior wellness centers.
Gotcha.
The Rogers one's really nice.
Yeah.
Springdale just opened theirs, and Bentonville's finishing theirs, and I don't know where Fayetteville's is, but luckily those are there. I mean, ideally we have a home base and then a satellite in each town.
Nice.
To be able to, say, rent out a bike or something like that, or there's a program in Illinois with in south suburbs of Chicago. What they do is they have their home base, but then they provide the surrounding towns with their adaptive recreation.
Okay.
Because ideally, that's what we're doing is we'll have like I said, the home base, but say there's a parent with a kid,
right?
And it's hard to get back and forth. So we do something at Bentonville Community Center, and they do their basketball that way once a week. Or then we go to Rogers, then we go to Springdale, then we go to Jones Center, and somewhere in Fayetteville. Fayetteville doesn't have a community center. Fix that, Fayetteville. That would be the goal, because I've had that issue too, where parents are like, 7 to 9 p.m. is too late for my kid. And it's like understandable, but my participants don't get out of work till 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I got to be later in the evening there.
Right.
But then you give them a Saturday afternoon option, and then they don't show up because it's Saturday afternoon. It's interesting here because like where I'm from, our town was like the size of, small city limits, where you compare Rogers, Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville. All their city limits are the size of the biggest suburbs in Chicago, like Naperville, Rockford, Aurora. So it's just to be able to do more within the towns would be nice too.
So these other programs that you're talking about, it's kind of the hub and spoke model. It sounds like the
one in Illinois does that, yeah.
And those, how are those funded?
Same way, grants, sponsors, donors.
10 or 20 years from now, when OzASA is big, what's your role going to be?
Hopefully the same, at least 20 years.
You're going to be writing all the grants, doing all the
accounting.
accounting.
God, no. The first person I'm hiring is somebody to fundraise.
Yeah.
But, you get your spiel put together. But like fundraise, I'd have a fundraiser, a program director. Fine, there's tons of jobs.
And then you would just play?
No, I actually enjoy running it.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would play rugby and do all the other stuff. But no, it's a lot of fun running it. Hopefully, next 5 to 10 years, we'll at least get the facility.
What are your immediate needs?
Immediate needs?
Yeah.
Staff and a van. We need a program van to pull our trailer, so it's not my dad's truck.
Yeah.
Getting beat up with the trailer. Because if we have the reason why a van instead of a truck is, with the van, we can just chuck the chairs in, and pull them out. I mean, the truck, you got to throw them in the bed and all that.
Yeah.
But with the van, we could just chuck them in and then hook it up to the trailers. Because we got 2 trailers. One's bigger than the other. Because that would get us over the startup hump.
But you're a fighter and an overcomer, so you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, you figure out how to go to the next step and the next step after that. And
last question, you can leave us with advice for someone who is newly injured. What would you tell them?
It depends on the person, because if they're fresh, and it's so hard to want to get back out and do stuff. It is difficult. It also depends on if they have the transportation. So that's why we do what we do. Is the program has the equipment so they can try it, see if they like it, and then I help them get their own grants. Because when you have your own, you size it perfectly to you. When they're new, they got to get out of their own head. They got to find the reason. They got to finally get tired with just doing nothing. It was a very boring first 2 years of just doing therapy and sitting at home. It's just, some people aren't built that way. You can only lead the horse to water. It's up to them to drink.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to them. But if they come out, they'll have a good time. They just don't realize it. Because because of the 72 hours to graduate for high school students, we get a lot of teen volunteers. They're like, I didn't even know this was possible. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, come out and play basketball.
Skip leg day. Exercises. Come work your arms, get some blisters.
Yeah. So where can people find you if they're interested in volunteering or donating?
The website, OzASA.org, is the best way to donate through PayPal or be a monthly donor, or any of that good stuff.
Okay.
Volunteer opportunities just pop in. I put a calendar on there. It's always fun to have people just pop in. Sometimes they warn me. Sometimes not. My participants don't even tell me if they're coming.
But hey, you're adaptive.
We're adaptive.
That's right.
We get them all in there. We try to stay consistent. We're every Wednesday and Saturday afternoon. We're at Springdale Parks and Rec, 1906 Cambridge, over by Cross Church behind Tyson headquarters. And then, our indoor stuff, like I said, is at Springdale. And then cycling we try to do everywhere. I keep a calendar at a glance.
Okay.
On the website, Facebook, Instagram.
Perfect.
And then we just post reels on the social medias.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
All the fun social medias.
Which you're the social media guy too, right?
Yeah. Until I get my interns, and they're my social media person.
Right on, man. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. We hope you were inspired by the story of today's good influencer. If so, please consider sharing it. Also, If you know someone doing good in our community whose story needs to be heard, send them my way. You can email me at thegoodinfluencerspodcast@gmail.com.